Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Corey, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. I missed Friday and I missed Monday making the episodes. I was absolutely gutted, but we're here now. So, 3 secrets to survive a sexless relationship. Whenever I speak to people, they told me that they've tried everything. And believe me, I believe you that you've tried everything. You've gone to couples counseling, gone to therapy, individual therapy. You've gone to date nights. You've gone weekend getaways, couples retreat. You've tried every single thing to try and shift the relationship, but nothing seems to work. In fact, sometimes you might stumble upon something that's working for a season, but then it ends up not working, especially when you're taking advice from online. And I know it's counterintuitive to what you're actually doing, but some of the advice online is pretty fucking shit, to lack of a better term. It's real shit, absolute bollocks. I remember when I started looking for information on a sexless relationship, and I was trying to change my sexless relationship. I'm one of those people that I'll read something and I'll act on it, and you'd see some sort of movement, and then all of a sudden it wouldn't work. So I know what it feels like to feel like you've tried every single thing, and then to feel like you've tried everything that you can and nothing is working, and then you get into survival mode. It's like, okay, maybe I'm never going to be happy. Maybe it's my destiny never to experience happiness, to feel fulfillment, to feel loved, to feel appreciated. And again, a lot of it becomes this battle of which pain is the most painful. The pain of going through a divorce and separating, or the pain of divorcing and separating and then being alone. So there's this fear of being alone, and that fear of being alone sort of keeps you in that relationship. And part of it is not that, it's also the fact that you don't want to break up your family. You don't want to, some of us, we've come from broken families, so we know what that looks like for our children, so we don't want our kids to experience that. So there's a lot of reasons why you end up staying in this really horrendous situation. And as you stay, you become, it puts you in a place where you feel like you're in survival mode. So usually when I get people ask me this question, it's like, how do I survive this? Because I don't feel like there's anything else I can do about it. So really, a lot of it comes down to your mindset around it. And when you can change your mindset, which is usually the first phase within Reignited Men, which is our program, you have to change your mind around it. And there's 3 things that you need to be doing in order to change that. Because when you change your mindset, it allows you to have conviction when you do the actions. A lot of people, they do a lot of actions, and a lot of the actions that you've done are potentially the right thing, and they never seem to work because you don't have the right mindset around it. So you have to understand a few things in order for that to actually work. And without further ado, the first one has to be, do not offer up more sex. Do not talk about sex. So now this is a big one. And it's big because when you've come to this place where you've got a sexless relationship, and the sexless relationship is caused by the fact that she feels a level of discomfort when you start interacting in a sexual manner. So whatever it is, whether you're during seduction or attraction, there's some sort of, and she's feeling uncomfortable, and therefore she doesn't want to do it. Now, she will do everything in her power not to go into it. And sometimes a lot of you guys have used manipulation, have used ultimatums in order for you to end up having sex, which has worked against you, because she's uncomfortable and she feels forced to do it, it compounds on the fact that she needs to be uncomfortable with sex. So again, this sets you back many, many, many years when you do it that way. So really, what your relationship would need at this point, it needs a reset. So by not talking about sex and by not offering up sex, it gives the opportunity for the relationship to have a reset button. And the equivalent to this, and as a visual for making this point, is that I was talking to somebody recently, and we're talking about quicksand. I was explaining to him that it's just a body of water with density, with a little bit of density of sand, and that's caused by air pockets amongst the sand and the water. And so if somebody falls in, and what causes them to continue sinking is the fact that they are wriggling and fighting. And the more they fight, the more air pockets that they create, and therefore the more that they will end up sinking. So this is the reason why it's similar. It's the same thing when it comes to sexless relationship, that when you are within trying to change it, when she's already feeling a level of discomfort, the more you try and do stuff around sex and offer up sex, it's you sinking further into a sexless relationship. So it's a very important distinction. And it's not saying that close off sex, don't talk about sex ever again. It's just for a season, so you can rebuild the comfort around sex. And this is, like I said, when you start thinking about it this way, the rebuilding stuff is on the second phase. And how do you do that? There's certain steps that you can do in order to build that. So the second one is that it's not your responsibility to change it. Now, most people, when it comes to being in a sexless relationship, they do things where they want to change how she's thinking, or at least they want to convince her to have sex with him. So, and we've mentioned this on the previous point, that people they'll try and talk about it and say, what's going on with the sexless relationship? Why is happening? And normally most women would say, well, it's because I'm feeling tired, or I feel a bit sick, I feel anxious, I feel depressed. It's all because of the kids. It's all because of I'm doing the housework, the cooking and everything like that. So people then take on the responsibility and say, you know what, I'll take on those responsibilities. If I can take those on, then hopefully that would take away whatever is causing you that depression, anxiety, whatever she gives you. And by doing so, it's going to somehow convince you to seeing that I'm the good guy, and therefore we can have sex. And really what it is it's just two things. It is transactional, which is it's a passion killer. When it's transactional, it's no different to coming up to a prostitute. It makes her feel cheap, makes her feel objectified, and it's just so much wrong with it. And then the other bit, it's very emasculating on you, or at least you look very, very low value when you do so, especially if you're doing it for transaction. So I'm doing this thing, and I want you to judge what I'm doing, and therefore I want reward for what I'm doing. And really it creates the dynamic of a parent-child dynamic. And therefore that's the reason why when you've done all those cleaning, all those errands around the house, everything that you're doing, she still doesn't want to have sex with you, because it creates this dynamic where you are sort of parent-kid. And again, she obviously is then at that point she's not willing to have sex with you, because she's having to judge what you're doing in order, because you're doing this thing and saying, I've cleaned. What do you think about me cleaning? Have you seen what I've done cleaning? And really, I do clean, I do cook, I do wash, I do everything around the house as well as anybody. But I don't do it for the exchange for sex. I do it because it's part of a family member. And sometimes when I do it for her, it's not for sex, it's more to do with her back. Sometimes it really hurts, so there's no way I want her to be feeling pain throughout the weekend. So I will do that as being a gentleman. And really, whether she gives me sex or not is not determined by whether I've cleaned the house or done something extraordinarily amazing, or stuff like that. So it's not your responsibility to change your mind. So when you think about it that way, it means that now you have to have the ability to present opportunities for her to say, okay, you know what, when I say presenting opportunities, it's a little bit different of when you come and you're trying to sell somebody. Whenever you're trying to sell somebody and you want them to buy this thing because it's going to enrich you, generally it becomes a forced sale. There's what they call buyer's remorse. Is that when the person buys the thing, they feel shitty about themselves, because they feel like it's not a collaborative thing. Whereas if you present an opportunity, then okay, you buying this thing is just as valuable as what you're going to give me. So even though you're going to pay for it, but the value that you're getting from the thing that you're buying is incredibly valuable to you, and you're going to benefit massively from it. So really, this is the difference, that you have to be having the ability to create opportunities. So whatever you're doing it in a way that creates opportunities for her in order to feel sexy, feel attraction, feel desire. So you're creating those environments. We'll talk about this as in my father-in-law. He's got a greenhouse, and he gets to grow plants during winter because he gets this thing where sunlight comes in, but then the heat is trapped within this greenhouse. So it allows the plants to have an environment where they can actually thrive in a very the wrong season. So it's an interesting way of looking at it. And when you start seeing it that way, that you cannot change her, but you can create an environment that can change her, it changes the approach and how you approach a sexless relationship. So last but not least is it's really not about sex. A lot of you guys, I always say to you guys, or at least if you're new, welcome. Thank you very much for listening. It's really not about sex. If it was, if she turned around today and said, you know what, I see the pain that you're going through, I see the depression, I don't want that ever to happen again. From now on, if you want to have sex, just tap me on the shoulder. I will bend over, and then you can do whatever you need to do. When you're finished, let me know, and then we'll continue on our day. I can guarantee you a lot of you guys will be like, no way, I don't want to do that. It's because you want an interaction within that relationship. You want that the relationship to be symbiotic. What that means is that, I'll tell you the example. In nature, symbiotic relationships are, for example, you get sharks, and some sharks will have these small fish that will clean the shark. So clean the gills, will clean sometimes the teeth as well of the shark. So this little fish will actually get into the shark's mouth, and this shark will not eat it, and you'll continue cleaning, and it'll clean around the shark and stay close to the shark. So while it's doing that, it's getting food from the shark. So it's eating whatever, and then also by eating all that food that's stuck in the gills and whatever's around the shark and cleaning it, it's protecting the shark from being ill and dying. But at the same time, it's getting to eat. But by proxy, that little fish is under protection, because the natural predators can't go and attack them, because all of a sudden, if they attack them, they put themselves in proximity for the shark. So it becomes this mutually beneficial relationship. So when it comes to sex, if you remove sex and start thinking about, how do I make this relationship something where we both feel validated, and what are those things that are making us feel validated? And I think, just as a side note, a lot of you guys, in order to get the best success in terms of sexless relationship, you need to figure out how to feel validated by yourself, not needing external influence to feel validated, which is what we do. We need somebody to give us sex in order for us to feel whole. When you can feel whole without having sex, what that does is actually make you powerful, which is going to lead us into the next episode, sexual power. And what a lot of you guys do is that you feel weak, you feel depressed, you feel unwanted, you feel unloved, based off of the fact that she's rejected you, because you feel like she's the one that's going to validate you or make you feel whole by giving you sex, which is an absolute terrible situation to be in. Again, like I said, if you peel it back, and then she turned around and said, I want you to have sex with me whenever you want, I'm just going to bend over, you do your thing, and then when you tell me when you're done, a large chunk of you guys would not be interested in that at all. And I would hope you're not interested in that at all. You'd want a more meaningful interaction, and that more meaningful interactions comes first when you can validate yourself. So really, there's been a lot of teaching and a lot of stuff, so it's been a bit longer than I would normally make in terms of the episode, but in order to, this is just a 30,000 view, so we can actually dive a lot more deeper, and we do within Reignited Men. But if you want a free seduction blueprint, go to thriving_tribesmen on our Instagram and type in blueprint, and we'll be able to give you a action plan on how to start changing your relationship from sexless to sexual success. So thank you very much, guys. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Take care.